very, very final thing I want to talk about today is, well, there's two things. Is the setting spray and the brush cleanser. Two amazing things to have in your stash when you're able to. When you're first starting out, if you had to pick one of these things, I would say go with the brush cleanser, because you're going to want to take good care of your brushes. And basically, I'll show you how this works. It's really amazing. So let's take this. I just put all this bright color on here, and so I could wet it and then let it dry and wash it with a shampoo or a soap. I'm just going to spray this on. It's a dry cleaner. Take a piece of paper towel and I'm just going to do this until it, and I'm going to keep going with just like your highlights and contours. The brushes really are designed to not hold the makeup in the brush, so usually there's barely anything to clean. It's more just for hygiene reasons, like to keep it out of like bacteria and whatnot. But when you're using like the eyeshadows and the lip colors, they're bright, and so sometimes they do stay on, especially the lip colors. They tend to stay on. So I'm just brushing until there's really nothing left. It's pretty much gone. Okay, so that's one thing I would say. Now this other thing I'm going to tell you about, which I briefly mentioned in one other video. This is our setting spray, and this is not a necessity, but what this is for is, especially if you want more longevity in your makeup, because our faces do move, right, throughout the day and stuff. So this really just helps lock everything in. But you can find it on Amazon or other stores. You can find other brands that I'm sure work great. But this one does work pretty well. It does come out a bit forcefully, so you can, if you push it all the way down in kind of an X form, just spray your whole face. I would do it before you have mascara on though. And then you just kind of let it dry, and it does make everything look extra dewy, which is what I love. But if you want a little more control, you have the Perfector Sponge. You spray it on here, and actually then it does double duty. If you haven't already blended, and you do this first, then it blends and locks in your makeup all in one. And we do have another thing that the setting spray can be used for, and it can be used as a primer. So sometimes people want to kind of prime their faces before they start their foundation. Sometimes it just helps with the application, helps it, what's the word? It just goes on smoother, especially maybe if you have dry skin and that type of thing. Or rougher skin, it really just gets the skin ready for the makeup. And again, to do that, I would just put it on your sponge. The other thing you can do is, if you have this brush, the brush and bronzer, sometimes I'm not using this because I'm too lazy to go wet it before I sit down. I'm not by my sink. I will spray some setting spray on my blush and bronzer brush, and I just kind of dab it all over, and it feels so nice because these brushes just feel amazing. So those are just a couple quick things I want to let you know. Oh, and one more thing, I did talk about it in the other videos briefly, but yeah, this sponge is called our Perfector Sponge, and it just comes in a little, it doesn't look like this now. Now the new one in the Saint branding is really pretty. It's gray, and it comes in a really pretty tin. But what you want to do with these is you want to soak it as wet as it can go, wring it out completely as much as you can, and then wring it out once more in a towel. That will be your perfect dampness. You want it damp enough that it is going to actually work to blend everything, but if it's too damp, it'll take makeup off. So you want it to be able to just, and if it's too dry, it won't do anything. So if it's just damp enough, it will blend everything, as well as it does one more thing that is super important, and that is it takes off excess makeup, which is a problem with people who are just getting started. Yeah, so that's that. And okay, so I'm mentioning one more thing. That is our, I did kind of show it, but depending on, I don't know if you saw it in my other videos. So this is our little brush tile cleaner. So this isn't a cleaner, but what this does is when you are, especially when you're doing eyeshadow, and let's say I'm doing like a really bright pink or a bright blue, and then I want to actually go use a cream. Well, I need the same brush. I could wipe it a little bit on a paper towel. I could even use my brush cleanser because it cleans, I mean, it doesn't need drying time. But when you're working and you're just trying to like move fast and switch in between colors and ends and whatever, just simply go like this. It takes it off for you so that nothing is being held in that brush. You still do need to actually clean them because again, like I said, it's not just about not having product on them because most of them don't hold the product, but it is actually about just keeping them free of bacteria so that obviously your face isn't breaking out and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that is it. That is it in my series of videos for today. It took me like a bajillion hours to put on my makeup doing all the videos, but it was fun. So if you have any questions, please message me, and if you haven't had a color match yet, I'd be so happy to help you with that and get you started with Saint.